Good afternoon, Saitlanders. How are you? I trust that you're well. Today is Wednesday, the 15th of March. One thing people are going to think I've lost my marbles, but the way I see it is I'm kind of a purist about this stuff. The days of the week are named after false gods. And as the pastor, James Jacob Prush, points out very, very well, if you don't know him, I don't say that you should like him. I don't think he's an easy guy to like. But he is unquestionably, regardless of his lack of agreeableness or charm, he is unquestionably one of the most intelligent theologians alive in the world today. As he says, Satan would never get anywhere, and his demons would never get anywhere, and the false gods that he uses to mislead people would not get anywhere if they didn't have power, if there wasn't some magic inside of them. Because people would never fall for it. There would never be any evidence. All of the evidence would only ever be on our side. So, to my way of thinking, if you're going to name the days of the week after false gods, then you're fundamentally giving credence to Satan. It's not like you can really say, oh, well, that was from 2,000 years ago, who cares, it's just a block of wood, there's nothing to it. So, please, can we fix that when this is all over? Or even before it's all over? Days of the week, the names of the days of the week, please, guys. Right, now that we've handled that matter, because I don't think there's much more to discuss, let's move on to the question of the strike. The national shutdown. I've wanted to speak about this for a few days, but I haven't for two reasons. Firstly, to my way of thinking, there was some sort of iffiness about the national shutdown and how it should be perceived. I wanted to get a couple of things clear in my mind. And the other reason, of course, is that I'm bound to go berserk over this subject. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to rant like a raving lunatic again in a video. But somebody has to say it. The national shutdown is being exercised under the rights to protest and demonstrate granted by the Constitution. The rights granted by the Constitution to protest, to demonstrate, to tell people that you're not happy. But they have made it clear that businesses that remain open shall be subject to retribution, to looting, to harm, to damage. Choose your favorite word. Now, surely that infringes your right to make business, your right to health and welfare, to safety, your right to free association. And the government has been deafeningly quiet on that aspect of this thing. The economic freedom fighters are publicly saying, they are threatening people, they're intimidating people, saying that there will be harm done. People will place themselves in jeopardy if they go to work, if they drive their taxis, if they operate their lorries, if they go into the ports to offload. And the government has said nary a word. Look, guys, let me just say this and say it nicely. Perhaps I'm a hypocrite. I demand not to be attacked for the fact that I did a lot of work for the African National Congress. Because I'm telling you that I am no different to any road builder in South Africa. Because if you're a successful road builder, even if you're an inferior one, your client is inevitably going to be a municipality, a district, a province, or a national department, presumably the Department of Transport or the Roads Agency Limited or whatever. South African National Roads Agency Limited. It's effectively the African National Congress every single time. And that's what I did. And instead of lying about it or covering it up, I said, that's what I did. And people took me to task for it. He must be a communist. His name is Arthur Jorgensen Smythe. He must support Manchester United. How can he not? He's left-handed. I bet you that he likes Vetplanter. I knew it. Left-handed people. The logic is so stupid that it's competitive. For 6 years, I have listened to arguments that were tantamount to me winning one of those competitions. You know, those scratch and win competitions that Coca-Cola and MTN always hold before Formula One races and the World Cup and what have you. Win 2 tickets, 4-star hotel, 5 days, San Marino. I won front row seats to the World Stupidity Games, the finals. That's how dumb that reasoning was. So I cut people slack. The slack I wish to have cut, I cut that slack. But, big business South Africa, your day is coming. You pandered to this for 35 years. From the late 80s until now, you pandered to this. You deserve what you're getting. Every single step of the way, you have pandered to this destructive madness. The new South Africa, the Rainbow Nation, the content of your advertisements, the pandering to contemptible ministers, to contemptible people, to contemptible ideas. And if you say, Simon, be reasonable. Late 80s, early 90s, it was turmoil. Nobody knew which way to turn. I'd say, I'm with you. You're right. Call it not 35 years, call it 30. Call it not 30 years, call it 25. But by 1999, we all knew that these people were mad and toxic. That they were willfully perverse. That they delighted in perversity. When I say these people, I mean the broad left that dominates South African politics. From the most right-wing African National Congress member to the most left-wing EFF member. And many others too. But that is the vast bulk. That is 99% of the generalization covered. Man, you shouldn't be the CEO of First National Bank or Sasol or MTN. You shouldn't be in that role. Big boss of Netcare or I don't know what, Santon Mediclinic. If you were not and are not well informed enough, no, let's say we're not well informed enough to have known by the very, very, very earliest 2000s that the uppermost echelons of the political class in South Africa are thoroughly saturated by willful perverts. To some extent you had to. You had to go along to get along. You had to, the zeitgeist. We all understand the zeitgeist. The zeitgeist was such, the spirit of the times was such that the anomaly of you or your company, not at least to some extent paying lip service, would have been so great, so egregious, that it would have been hounded out of the marketplace. But many of you, the overwhelming majority of you, did not pay lip service. You pandered. You pandered the African National Congress and the new South Africa Rainbow Nation at every given turn. You are just getting a foretaste of the comeuppance that is going to be served to you fresh and steaming hot on a silver platter. Your day is coming, I'm telling you. I am glad, I am delighted that the government is so weak and so dishonest that it has until now not said a single word about the destruction and harm that is going to be wreaked by the EFF, possibly, if the national shutdown lives up to the hype on you. I'm not delighted that people are going to lose jobs. I'm not delighted that it makes me and the mothers of my children and those I love more vulnerable. I'm not delighted that it is going to have a knock-on effect upon my beloved father's pension. I'm not delighted by the other misery, the collateral misery. But your portion of that misery, I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, right? Your portion of it delights me. If it is going to happen, I wish it not. I'm speaking out. Thank you very much. I'm putting my head on the chopping block, my neck, sticking out my neck. I'm the one who's been the victim of untold slander for 6 years solid. And 2 poisonings. Assassination attempts of which I was forewarned when I was in the USA by somebody who was exposed. Somebody who knew what they were talking about. Let's just leave it there. Said to me, never come back to this country. I have sat in meetings at the highest level marvelous coincidence. It's a marvelous series of genuine coincidences. Somebody that I happen to know from years ago who owed me an enormous series of enormous favors, and whose conscience got the better of them. And so they betrayed the new South Africa Rainbow Nation, or betrayed the intentions of very, 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 very senior people in the rainbow to kill me. Explicit. The guy said to me there were some things I didn't understand because they were spoken in vernacular. He said, so he asked somebody afterward. And they said to him, we were speaking Sotho, blah, 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 blah. Tswana, I think, actually, although I don't know. And I'm still doing it. Twice, this close to death, this close. As the doctor said to me of one of the poisonings, I don't know anybody who could have survived that. So I'm doing it, and I shall continue to do it with greater vigor as the matter becomes worse. But you have done nothing since forever. In fact, you've sponsored this thing. You have sponsored this. And you continue to sponsor it. You know, you hear these stories of Johann Rupert and whoever else. I know there are many others. He's just one name. Wealthy Jewish businessmen, bankers, donating to the DA, the ANC, the EFF, the hele lot. You continue to sponsor the death of this country. May God not have mercy on you, for you know what you do. The collateral damage I wish on nobody, even the harm to you, I do not wish, because it implies collateral damage. Loss of jobs, pain in families, pain in schools, pain in little children's hearts. Sad homes, terrified kiddies, insecure mommies, despairing daddies. But to the extent that it is going to happen, I delight in your portion of the pain. You have paid for this, you wicked, wicked people. And neither you nor the government have had the integrity throughout this thing. This is the first video that I know of. Maybe I missed something. Jeremy Nell, The Morning Shot, I don't know. Niespod, Stroom op, Praag, who knows? Maybe they made a video already. But this is the first vocal, public expression, video, I don't know what all, legacy media, who knows, DSTV, in any format, medium, that I know of, the first person to say, hey, these O's, in the name of the Constitution, are proposing to destroy protégés of the Constitution. To the extent that the national shutdown shall or shan't occur, with or without me, on Monday. I cannot wait for your pain. You bought this. Now eat it.